Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Dyslexic Reading. Today, I am not gonna lie to you, I had a completely different video planned, but life gets to you, life gets busy, and unfortunately sometimes you just don't have time to do what you planned. So to compensate, I thought I'd do a bit of a messy video today, and I'd talk about books that I bought this week, which I shouldn't have been doing, by the way. I should not have been, and I'm on a book ban now, I swear. So I'm going to be discussing books that I've already bought this week and books that I've read in the past week, I think. I think that would be really cool to discuss, especially because I have been going through it a lot lately. I've been going through them a lot lately, as should I say. Currently, it is like, I don't know, like 4:30 in the afternoon, and I've been out all day. I'm pretty wiped, which is why my hair looks a little bit crazy and my makeup's kind of like come all off, and I'm actually in my PJs. So, you know, this will be fun. My apartment's a little bit messy as well, so excuse that. It's just a bit of an unhinged time. But yeah, I thought I'd just do a little sit down, chatty, casual video for everybody today, if that's okay with everyone. I promise I will be putting way more planning into my videos in the future. It's just been a super busy week. Okay, so I think maybe I should start with kind of going through the books that I've read in the past week or so. And I'd like to start with like my favourite, which is The Lamb by Lucy Rose. I had a lot of thoughts about this book, and I also had a lot of anticipation. If you haven't seen my previous video, I actually talked about what I thought this book would be about and what my predictions were. I gave this book a 4 stars, but I think I'd rate it like a 3.9 to a 4 star. I really loved it, do not get me wrong, like 3.9 is like an amazing rating for me. I loved it, it was just so interesting. However, it was not my favouriteest thing in the whole entire world. It did not knock my socks off and knock me to the floor, and I have not thought about the characters consistently in the whole wide world to give it a 5 star. But I would definitely recommend this to anybody ever. I really like the short chapters. Like the chapters in this were only like maybe 3 to 5 pages. I really enjoyed that. It made the book go a lot quicker, and the content didn't feel as dense as it does in some other books like The Secret History, which we'll get into later, by the way. I thought the characters in this book were really well thought out. It was a great exploration of growing up as a queer young woman in England, especially in rural England, and it felt a lot of an isolated background, which is something I really enjoy in these types of books. It was definitely a weird girl thriller / horror type book, and there was cannibalism, I was right. So we follow Mama and Margot. I'm dyslexic, I can't compute. Let's just call her Margot. So we follow Mama and Margot, and they are daughter mum cannibals in the rural English countryside. And then one day in the snow, a stranger called Eden shows up, and it all kind of progresses from there. I just really think you should go in blind. The booksellers were right. You should go in completely blind. Do not expect anything. Do not look at any spoilers or anything else. Just go in and experience the motions. This wasn't a long book. I think it was about 320 pages. So it was definitely quite like a short read compared to other books. So I definitely recommend, especially if you're in the mood for something a little bit like psychologically messy around, I guess, in layman's terms. I have also seen new editions of this book, especially kind of this special edition going around. And essentially you take off the dust cover and it's like a meat pattern across the whole hardback, and it's beautiful, but I cannot justify getting it because I already have a hardback copy of the book. The next book that I'm actually in the progress of reading it. I am a good chunk through this book. It's The Secret History. I'll definitely be sharing a review on this soon. I gotta be honest with you guys, I predicted that I wouldn't enjoy this, and there are some bits that I found really intriguing and well written, but I feel like this is definitely overhyped. I haven't finished it, so I can't give it an honest and great review at the moment, but the way it's going, it is definitely overhyped, I can tell you that much. It's definitely interesting, the characters are well thought out and well written, but it is just a piece of pretentious literature about insufferable people in academia and how they become friends and how they can't be friends with somebody else, essentially, if that makes sense. If you like these characters in this book, that's great. I hate them all. I cannot find a character in this book that I like, and I think that's the point. I think it's supposed to be insufferable and you're supposed to hate everybody and just really not root for them. That's all I can say at the moment about this book, but the way it's going, I would currently rate it like maybe a 3-star. I feel is quite good. I was right though, it does have some racism in it, which is not good at all, and I'm not quite sure why, apart from there is a lot of racism ingrained in classics, but also it hasn't referred to racism in classics itself. It's just the dialogue between the dialogue between the characters, that you have the racist remarks in and like racial stereotypes, and I just don't feel the need, essentially, especially if you're going to use somebody expressing racist terms to make them more unlikable to the reader. I think if you're relying on that and it's not in a historical sense, then you're not writing a character well enough or considering the full scope of what you could do to make that character unlikable. I don't know, it just rubbed me the wrong way, and I know this was written in the 90s, I think, so times were different, but maybe get better writing. I do love the Donata narration though in the audiobook. It is great. I just love the way she speaks. It's so transformative. I feel like I can immerse myself in it, like cuddle myself with it like a blanket or a big hoodie like this one. It just takes you away from where you are, I think is the best way to describe it. Okay, let's move on to the books that I bought this week. So the first one, sorry if you hear rustling, it's a plastic bag. The first one I bought is Swordcatcher Book 1 by Cassandra Clare. Been hearing a lot about it, basically. I have big FOMO. Look how thick this book is. I thought The Secret History was thick recently. How many pages are in this, actually? It only has around 622 pages. This has 628 pages, but the writing is so minuscule. Oh, that's another thing about The Secret History, sorry, while I'm on the tangent. The writing is tiny weeny. So you feel like you've read about 5 chapters after only reading 5 pages. That is a big criticism I have with the printing of this book, and I also think it's quite inaccessible for dyslexic people, especially because the pages are so white and the text is so small, and the font is just, yeah, the font doesn't help either. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think if you're dyslexic, definitely buy it in a physical if you really like the physical copy and want to say that you have it, but read it on the Kindle. That would make it so much more accessible and a better experience, as well as having the audiobook on. That is why I'm so heavily relying on the audiobook, because the printing of this book is so terrible. I'm not gonna lie, I can't lie to you guys. I just don't vibe with it. Sorry, Penguin, please do better. But I know a publishing house is now, I can't remember which one, but there's a publishing house creating dyslexic friendly copies. And if that was done with The Secret History, or maybe it has been done with The Secret History and I'm just not aware, then that would be amazing, because this kind of font is not accessible for anybody. I know friends who don't have any like dyslexia or any reading disabilities or difficulties, and they say that this is horrible too to read. So maybe we should get on that as a society. Anyway, back to Swordcatcher Book 1 by Cassandra Clare. I've been hearing so much about it, I basically got FOMO and was like, right. I saw it in an offer at WH Smith and just thought, great, I'm gonna get it. I'm just gonna get it. 622 pages doesn't actually seem that bad at all. And I've been wanting to get into a new fantasy series, especially because I hear that this has such good world building and such good characters, and the Swordcatcher series is amazing. So why not? Why not? I'm chasing the high that ACOTAR once gave me as my first foray into fantasy. Also, look how pretty this is. I'm sorry, like, beautiful. I haven't really looked inside. Oh my god. Sorry, I just saw that the text is also quite small, and that was not something I was planning on looking at today. I should have looked at this before I purchased it. Always look at your books before you purchase them. Moral of the story. But you know, maybe audiobook as well, and I can deal with it, because it's not as bad as The Secret History, because the pages are off-white, which definitely makes it more accessible to me personally, and could make it a lot more accessible to other people. But you know, the font isn't that bad compared to The Secret History, the size actually, now that I'm actually looking at it properly. I'm trying not to spoil anything for myself. Why did I look at the back pages? Oh my gosh. It's been a scrambly day up in here. It's been such a scrambly day in this head. My head is like scrambled eggs. That is my brain. Also, side note, do you guys like the roses that my boyfriend got me for Valentine's Day? I love them. They're so cute. I think they're really sweet and perfect. You know, oh, my brain. Oh, that is not good, guys. That is not good. Anyway, back to Swordcatcher once again. I keep getting sidetracked. I apologise. But I just really am excited to get into this book. It's been hyped so heavily to me. I'm excited to see what it's about, but again, I have a really heavy TBR, as we looked at last time with all my purchases from last week. So we'll see. But it does have a quote on the front from George R.R. Martin and Holly Black. It also has one from Leigh Bardugo, but I'm not a big fan of Leigh Bardugo personally. I find their writing style a little bit goes in one ear out the other. But I'm actually really excited. It has some good recommendations on this. Good recommendations. And I saw a book influencer who I really like read the latest Swordcatcher, and she said it was amazing. So why not? Why not? The second book I bought today in W.H. Smith was Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, and I've heard a lot about this. This is supposed to be an amazing thriller. I've never read a Lisa Jewell book before. I'm really excited just to get into it and throw myself in and be immersed once again. I love a great thriller story. I love a thriller. Thriller was the original genre that I first read. I read Verity by Colleen Hoover, and I'm a hater of Colleen Hoover. Hater. If she has no haters, then I passed away. But that book was really good. I have to be truthful, cut the benefit of the doubt. That book was really good. It was an anomaly. An anomaly. If you like Colleen Hoover and her books, that's completely fine. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to shame you. It's just my personal opinion. That's about it, really. What's my opinion worth at the end of the day? This book, I have been told, essentially follows a woman whose daughter has gone missing, and she starts dating this man, and he has a daughter who looks exactly like her missing daughter, which I thought was an amazing premise. Like, how spooky. Like, how spooky. And she will probably have to pretend to like that man just to stay near the daughter. I'm here for it, you know. Also, I really love the cover. I'm not sure if the American cover is different, or I've just been seeing the British cover everywhere, but if this is the same as the American cover, that's really rare for over here, because as you probably know, American editions, British editions, Australian editions, all different covers, and that's not to mention every other part of the world, like India, Germany, Spain, Greece, all different. And, you know, it's kind of rare we have the same cover across countries. This could be completely wrong, by the way. I could be just rambling out of my head right now. But nonetheless, I'm extremely excited. Ooh, this is actually really great. The font is quite large. It is not jamming up the page. It is just sat quite comfortably in the middle of the page, and the pages are off-white! I'm not sure how long the chapters are, though. We'll see. It can't be as long as The Secret History. By the way, if you don't know anything about The Secret History, their chapters are like 100 pages plus long, and it makes me really, really upset. But I'm gonna finish it to say that I finished it. It is like climbing Mount Everest. You essentially want to do it, and then when you're doing it, it's super hard, but when you get to the top, you can say you've climbed Mount Everest, which is The Secret History to me. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me through this really rough cut kind of style of video. I know that it's been a little bit like jaunting, like, whoa, what is happening here, especially because I feel so unhinged talking about this and so messy kind of with this idea. But But yeah, hopefully next week I'll be a little bit more on track and I won't be as messy with my thought process. It's just been, again, a very busy week for me. But as always guys, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and then you can stay tuned for the next video. If you like my content, then I also have my socials linked down below for TikTok and Bookstagram. I will be here this time next week with a new video for you guys. Thanks for watching.